All right, let me just make sure sound looks good. Let me noise. There we go. All right, welcome to the Unbound Soul Show with myself, Hakeem, and Raquel. Tonight we are going to talk
Hi.
about what? Oh, you wanted to say hello to the audience?
Yeah.
Hola.
uh, the importance of imagination. Oh, sorry, because there's like a delay too. So like we're having internet issues, and now there's more of a delay than we typically have.
Yeah, that's why
Yeah.
we're delayed. I apologize. We came on 25 minutes late because internet problems. But that's been happening all week though,
Mm.
where I've been having little strange little issues. I had to reset my internet a couple of times. So, and other people have complained about it. I don't know what's going on. I know a lot of upgrades were happening to some banks. Some banks were upgrading their systems over the weekend. It's just funny these
Mm.
upgrades are happening after the shutdown. But we'll get into that. So we're talking about imagination.
Yes, we're talking about the importance of imagination.
The importance of imagination.
All right. So Romans 12:2. Do not conform to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve that God's will is his good, pleasing, and perfect will.
Mhm.
So when we conform to this world, we are not using our imagination.
Mm-mm.
And we're basically just, it's kind of, for me, it's kind of like a violation of the first commandment,
Mm-hmm.
because you are giving in to this false idol, which is this world,
Mm-hmm.
instead of the your or our ultimate creator,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, are you familiar with Neville Goddard?
Yeah, I have his books.
Yeah,
Plenty of his
yeah.
whole collection. Yeah.
So I'm going based on my notes are based on what he stated about imagination, and he said if we believe all there is what we see and what we are told, then we're conforming to the patterns of this world, right? Inside, inside of going, instead of going within and finding solutions for a world that is, I'm sorry, I think I wrote this incorrectly, but basically, it's not of God. This world is not of God.
Mm-hmm.
And we keep on believing that we can't do anything to change it. It's because we're conforming to this world,
Mm-hmm.
right? Imagination is the beginning of creation. You imagine what you desire, and then you believe it to be true. You imagine our imagination is creative, is a creative force that can shape our reality, but we're allowing other ideas to shape our reality.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking about this whole digital ID, uh, real ID, all this surveillance. So many people keep on saying, you're not going to have freedom. You're not going to be able to do anything with the switch. They can cut everything off.
They can do
And
that
it's
now
like,
anyway without the digital ID, but yeah.
that's what I was thinking too.
Right.
Um, so I'm just like, okay, so are we feeding this this agenda that is meant to hurt us? Are we feeding it by saying, oh my goodness, this is what's going to happen and there's nothing we can do about it? That's it. And I'm just like, wait a minute. Things like this have happened in the past.
Worse.
And oh yeah, I'd like to hear, what do you mean by worse? Because the people need to know this.
I mean, you had when they were actually killing people in the street by the millions, through the different wars and stuff like that. So whenever a war went on, you lost all your freedoms. The government said move out of your house, and they take it over and use it as a base.
Mm-hmm.
Now, didn't happen so much in this country, but in other countries, it has happened. Um,
Mm-hmm.
that's why in the Constitution it says that the military is in strict subordination to the people. That's why that's in there. Because that's what happens in times of war. They would come in and take over people's homes. But things have happened worse than what we're talking about right now. But this is to some people, this is the worst of their experience. So they
Mm-hmm.
don't know about what happened before. You see? So
Mm-hmm.
when we talk about them restricting our ability, they already do that. If you owe the IRS money, they can come and take it out of your bank account. Just send a letter to the bank, no court order, and take it away. People can't travel if they have over $50,000 in IRS debt. They take their passport. Driver's license are taken away for people who owe child support. So these things are already done. So when you go to the digital ID thing, them taking away the actual physical card, you could have a card and they could suspend your license digitally. Just punch the button. Oh, this license is no good. So I can still have the card. So
Mm-hmm.
everything's already digital. People everything's in a computer, so that's digital. The card and the passport is just a representation of what's already in their computer.
Mm-hmm.
So what they're trying to do, the reason why they want things to go digital is because they don't have to pay for the materials to create these IDs now. You see what I'm saying? So that's all a government saving mechanism. We could charge them more money, but now we don't have to give them an actual card. Pay to produce that. There's people who make money off of those books and all of that stuff. So that's what they call the Paper Reduction Act, which is all. If you read any of their material, they're always looking for ways to reduce paper or where you actually have a physical thing. So we a digital ID. I can't see how it will be any more worse than what we're already going through, right? Because right now, with the click of a button, you could go to your bank account, and nothing could be there. All off the IRS saying you owe them some money and sending a letter saying we're leaning and taking their money, and that happens to people every day. People get
Mm-hmm.
their accounts taken. But back to what you were talking about, imagination. We are conforming to the world when we allow the system to tell us how we should live our lives. So what does the system tell us? Oh, we need to vote for a politician to make laws for us that support our interests. When I I don't when you're in that mindset, I guess you feel some type of security out of that. But when you step out of the mindset and you really look, these people are not making laws for your benefit. They're making laws for the benefit of bigger corporations. That's who gets
Mm-hmm.
the benefit for it. So that they can hire people to support the system. So when you
Mm-hmm.
have this thinking, oh, I gotta get this guy to do that's conforming to the ideas of the world. It's not using your imagination. Because a lot of the things that we get from the government, we could do ourselves. We really don't need to live in these big cities with so many neighbors and people right next door to us. We don't have to live like that. There's so much rural land out there. You can go live and not have all the hustle and bustle. What are our basic needs in this world? What are our basic needs? Food, clothing, shelter, and
Water.
companionship. A community of people that
Mm-hmm.
we can get along with. So if a community of people just decided, I'm done with this, go off, get some land, long as they have all they need, really, right? But
Mm-hmm.
The big city appeal or the city appeals. Oh, the government's gonna build infrastructure so you can go to the grocery store over here, you can go to the park over there, you can go to the library here. And guess what? Since you live in my infrastructure, you got to go to the schools we tell you to go to, or we take your kids from you if you don't go to our schools. See, but if you lived outside of that, you wouldn't have a lot of the issues that we have. But people want are conforming to the ideas of the world. They want convenience. And for that convenience, we pay a price. It's a big one. It's a big
Yeah.
price. And because we're born into this system, we don't see how bad it is until we get old to say, wait a minute, I've been working all these years and all I get to do is work every day until I get around 60, 65. And then the average lifespan after that is another 10 years,
Hmm.
right? Most people pass away within 10 years of their retirement. And they know that. So they make the retirement rules so that you only collect but so much of that money that they're supposed to give you.
Hmm. Because they want to take
So
it.
right. Because and your spouse doesn't get it. Get that. What your spouse gets is the higher of the two. So if you married, right, and y'all both getting Social Security, whoever gets more, that's what your spouse gets. You don't get to, well, he's passed away. Let me get that money. No, they don't let you have it twice. Isn't that crazy? They get to keep it. You're an heir
Hmm.
person, and you can't keep their retirement.
Yeah, and now that you're saying that, so many people say, you should have Social Security, because it's a sure thing. And I said, no, it's not. And
Mm-mm.
now you're bringing up another point. So if if I have heirs, they're not gonna get it.
Nope, the government gets to keep it. But as long as they're alive, they keep getting it. That's the crazy part. Because what does that mean? When you really understand what's going on, that money is being given to that social, their property. And as
Mm,
long as it's producing revenue for the system by way of going to the store, paying taxes, buying gas, paying taxes, buying merchandise, paying taxes, paying property taxes, paying taxes, it's going to allow it to get Social Security. But now it's no longer a benefit to the system anymore. So no, because really Social Security is just a recoupment of what you put into it.
hmm.
In the
Just a fraction
scam,
of what you put into
in
it.
a fraction. And the scam is this: the reason why you get it while you're still alive because you're still feeding the system. So here's your token compensation for feeding us. But once you no longer can compensate us, no, you can't. You don't get it anymore. We keep what's left over. You see, that's why the
Yeah.
system. That's the only way it works. So they created a system that's not sustainable, and they know it. So I know we were talking about imagination, but when you start using your imagination and start realizing that nothing that they taught you was for your benefit, it was
Hmm.
for the benefit of a whole system to keep it working. So all of the chaos that you see in it is by design.
Hmm.
All of the
Hmm.
racial tensions, this person's black, white, and all of those are feminism, male men against women. All of those are part of the system to keep it running. Because long as men and women just on that basic level are at odds, guess what's gonna happen? Women gonna choose independence, go get jobs. So now guess what? They get taxed and
Hmm.
the men are going out getting jobs now. Let's say the two people get together and have children, so they feed all of these issues into each other's mind. Everybody becomes an enemy. Oh, I'm getting a divorce and I'm gonna take half your money. I'm gonna now you got to pay child support. Guess what happens? The wealth of the family is depleted. The average
Hmm.
person who's not rich gets into a situation where they have to pay child support or both, that puts them into poverty, below the poverty line, until those children grow up.
Mm-hmm.
I have a cousin. Living in New York, making the NYPD. They make good money, but for years he couldn't afford his own place because of child support. Even making
Wow.
all that money, you see what I'm saying? Until, and guess how he got out of it? He met someone else. They got together and they started working together as a team. That helped him come up. Now he doesn't have to pay it. All his kids are grown now. But you see what happened? All of those years that were lost, the wealth that was lost through that system. But when you feed into the mind's entitlement and create all of these narratives, this is all by design to keep everybody distracted against each other so they don't use their imagination to realize that all of these issues that in the society are manufactured for me to be right where I am right now, so I can never rise above, to be where the elite are or whoever's
Yeah.
making these rules.
Yeah. When you're living in fear or frustration or anger, you're incapable of truly imagining a better
Mm-mm.
life.
No, can't. It's hard to imagine. Just think about it. You work a job, right? Trying to use your imagination is very difficult because you got the responsibilities, the jobs you have to live up. So that's most of your day.
Mm-hmm.
And then what's left over of it, you have to recuperate from the day. So you never have time unless you deliberately take the time.
Yeah.
You have to like really, okay, I got to do this now. Then right after you do it, you have something else to do. Get some rest so that you can get up and do what? Feed the system some more. Because by taking a job and getting a wage, you are feeding the system. Because why? They take a portion of your money before you even get it. If
Mm-hmm.
you're an employee, um, when you really pick it all apart, it's really diabolical.
Yeah.
It's real.
But it's also it's really brilliant. Like I was talking to someone the other day and I said, everything that's being done, it's brilliant. It's absolutely sinister and wicked, but it's brilliant at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Because they use psychology as a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been doing this for
They studied
God
it.
knows how long.
They
Yeah.
they got think tanks that study how to manipulate societies. They got think tanks that sit down and study how to manipulate the world. We already saw it. We saw big 2019, 2020. We saw it.
Hmm.
And people are still, the effects of that is still going on.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, they blatantly tell you that they screwed you
Hmm.
because now they're saying before you take the thing, you need to go check with your doctor first now before you decide to go get that C shot. Now
Yeah.
they're saying don't go get it, don't go get any more until you get all clear from your doctor now, right from the CDC. That's what they're saying. Where?
Yes, but then no one was forced. No one was forced to take that
Where?
intervention.
But before you had to hit it, you got it, and they were
Yeah.
saying it, and now they're coming back and saying it. It's just,
Yeah, they're
but
saying we
all of the
didn't force
people
you.
that
We didn't
was
force you.
objecting, all of the people that was objecting to it, they were villainized,
Hmm.
treated like trash,
Yeah.
publicly,
Hmm.
privately.
Hmm.
Now those people are somewhat vindicated. All of the ones that was against them, they didn't come out with an apology. You see,
Hmm.
they didn't come out. Well, yeah, you know, you were right. Mm-mm. They're just moving along like it never happened. But
Yeah.
what I'm saying, the point is, they have sat in think tanks and imagined all of how they want things to go so that you don't have to do the thinking, so you don't think for yourself.
Or not just the thinking for yourself, but more like feed into their thinking.
Yeah.
Like, let's create a scenario
Think you
where they help
your
support it
idea.
with, we create a frequency and they're feeding into it. It's kind of like the matrix when you're plugged into it, right? In the back,
Mm-hmm.
right? Remember? So it's like we're feeding it
Mm-hmm.
just with our fear, our anger, all these negative feelings. Um, yeah, like we're fueling that. It's I know I'm thinking of all these different
It won't work without people's
films,
participation.
right?
It doesn't work without people participating. As long as we do things like, well, just give them your ID. There, you know, what's the big deal,
Hmm. I still get that.
right?
Yeah.
But and they think like the cops are going, why didn't you just give it to us? You know, basically saying, why don't you just give up your rights? That's what it's saying.
Yeah. Now, I've been telling people like who are talking about the real ID and this digital ID, saying you have to study the Constitution. We have to study the Constitution. Oh, well, what does that matter? What does that matter? They're
See,
going to do it
that's the
anyway.
thing. And they so casually say that to you, and they
Yeah.
never read it. Instead of
Hmm.
saying, okay, what's in the Constitution that may benefit me? First thing you say, it turns them off.
Hmm.
Why? Because it's like the movie The Matrix, right? And he was
Yeah, I was going
schooling
to bring that
Neo.
up too.
He was schooling Neo on, because all that was about the mind, right? He was schooling Neo. He said, listen, this is a system, Neo. And if they're not one of us, they're one of them, the agents. So that's why when you talk about the Constitution, the agents don't want you to work through the Constitution, use your rights, because that's your weapon against them.
Hmm.
Those are the rules, right? So when people automatically jump and say, "What is that going to do for me?" and they don't even know what it says, just shows that they automatically are trained to jump to the side of the system to defend.
Mm.
You
Hmm.
say if they're not unplugged, they are going to defend that system. So they will even die for it.
Hmm.
Right? People are now it's really Democrats against the Republicans. Republicans Democrats shut the government down. They wouldn't do this. And what's so weird about this shutdown, no one's making a big deal about it.
Hmm.
And people are not getting paid. There's people that's actually
Hmm.
not getting a paycheck. Like the air traffic controllers are not getting paid.
Yes, I've been seeing that.
All right, they're not getting
Yeah.
a check. Okay. Federal contractors don't get paid. Um, also, IRS, all the people that I don't, regular people work there, so I can't think. They not getting that. That's shut down. So there's a lot of things that's not getting taken care of. So here's the bigger question: was it by design, or just they just didn't agree? Remember what I said?
All these big pieces, to me, it's
But all
definitely
of a sudden, banks are updating their system this past weekend. I got many emails. Oh, this is going to be down. We're updating our system. All banks. What's going on? All of them doing these upgrades,
hmm.
and I'm talking about upgrades that last a whole weekend. One of the banks sent an email. Yeah, from this day until the end of Sunday, this won't be working. These certain things are not working, and that's not the first upgrade. That was a one because they did some upgrades about a month ago, if I'm not mistaken. Some
Mm.
system changes, but a lot of companies have been doing that. Bigger companies have been doing that. So it's weird. It's just weird how because usually you hear a lot of news across. Oh, the government shut down. There's nothing coming across my feed talking about this shutdown. Nothing. Oh, it's shut
Hmm.
down, and that was it. Like it's normal.
Yeah,
Like we'll see. We shall see.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's a lot to unpack.
Hmm.
um, but yeah. So how you were talking about, imagination and how in the Matrix they're basically, or what you were saying before, how they're telling you how you need to live, how you need to do this.
Right.
So another guru, Napoleon Hill, he said there was two forms of imagination: the synthetic imagination and the creative imagination. So they're basically feeding us things to strengthen the synthetic imagination
Hmm.
because it's based on experience, education, and observation.
Hmm.
So they're the ones creating a certain experience and we're actually giving into it. The
Absolutely.
education, we're giving into it. We're being indoctrinated in these schools, you
We are
know,
deliberately sending our children to the schools knowing that it does. Although some people really believe in, public education. I believe in education. I just believe in correct education, good education.
right. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the issue with the public schools is got a curriculum and who you think design it. They design it for you to be the next millionaire? No, they design it for you to be the next
Yes.
worker to feed the system. You're programmed to feed the system. I
Right.
meet so
That's
many people
the
that claim that they're entrepreneurs, but when you really hear them talk, they're really just entrepreneurs that are employees for their company.
hmm
They just traded. They don't actually have a boss, but they have to still have the worker mentality.
right, right, right.
Mm.
So, and then when you look at those who were homeschooled or went to Montessori school, they're the ones that are true entrepreneurs
Hmm.
because they have the imagination. They were
Yeah, because
able to
they're
constantly
allowed to
think
use. Yeah,
outside the box.
yeah.
Right. They weren't always told this is the experience you need to have. This is the education you need to have. This is what you have to always be focusing on. It's like, oh
Mm.
no, so explore your environment. What makes sense to you, right?
Yeah,
So,
Montessori. I can actually attest to the Montessori education because one of my sons went to Montessori, my youngest son, and it was a difference. He did well throughout school. He breezed through school because of that. And
really,
we sent him there for like 3 years to Montessori before he was able to go to regular school. I knew nothing about what Montessori was about, but they had this program where he can go to Montessori, so we sent him there, and he did better in school than my other two sons. So that
wow.
I could see the difference. Like he
What
breathed.
ages was
He
he?
started out in Montessori around 2 or 3, and he stayed there till he was about 5.
Wow.
In just that 3 years, because my other son went to regular daycare. Just it was a place called Play to Learn, just a regular daycare, and he did okay in school, but I could see the difference. That early uh, access to quality, um, I don't even want to call it like education, just quality where they because
Nurturing.
yeah, s- it made a big difference.
Yeah, you know who owns uh, a majority? I mean, I have to investigate this, but I'm pretty sure it's accurate. A majority of the daycares,
Who?
private equity firms, including
Mm,
BlackRock.
I could see that because daycare now, of course, and costs around $300-400 a week for one
More
kid.
than that.
That's
More than that.
crazy. Ooh, child care. Yeah, picture is pixelating again a little bit.
Yeah, I know. I don't know.
Um, so
So
what
you
else?
think you're gonna get quality care in something that's pretty much owned by these
No.
private equity firms? No.
Mm-mm. You're gonna have to
I'm more
be
like go
real.
back with the grandmas and the aunties who take you to the park and just let you play for hours on end,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
you know. So what we're being fed on a regular basis is to foster synthetic imagination, which is not truly it's not true imagination. It's limited.
Mm-hmm.
So Napoleon Hill said, we also have creative imagination, where the finite mind of a man has direct communication with infinite intelligence,
Mm-hmm.
not artificial intelligence, right? Infinite intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
So this faculty, and a quote, this faculty functions only when the conscious mind is vibrating at an exceedingly rapid rate. When the
Mm-hmm.
conscious mind is stimulated through the emotion, through any emotion, but an example, desire, love, but has to be so stimulated.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're in school, in these indoctrination schools, you're not stimulated,
Mm-hmm.
you're numbed.
Yep, that's true.
So, how can you ever want for more? Because it's just, you're always told there's a ceiling, there's a ceiling, there's a ceiling. And the ceiling is not way up there. It's like right here, right above your head. You
Mm,
can't go any higher up than that.
right.
Um, and then if we don't use this creative imagination, it becomes weak. It becomes weak. It atrophies. But it's never lost.
No, it just takes more work to redevelop
It
it
takes
as you get older.
right, right. But then it goes back to, Romans 12:2. The do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind.
Mm-hmm.
So your mind can always be renewed. You can always come back to this creative imagination. You can always strengthen it. You can always do something.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to be so freaked out about this digital ID or losing your money. What you have to do is use your creative imagination and change the outcome. Do not give in to what these illusionary powers that be
Mm-hmm.
want.
Right.
There's so many people saying, the powers that be. No, those are illusionary powers
There's
that be.
illusion. They only get power by our action, by our consent.
Right, right.
They presented an opportunity here, and we accept it.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, we accept it because our parents said it was the thing to do. Because everybody else is doing it. It's the normal.
Right,
So that's how we fall into it. We weren't really properly educated. Like, what are we really signing up for?
right. But then think now with all these private equity firms owning daycares. I mean, it can worsen
Mm-hmm.
unless people like us, make it happen, or change that. Not necessarily make that dream happen,
Mm-hmm.
the illusionary powers that be, but change what they're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like we, like the Maharishi effect that we talked about last week. It doesn't take a big group of people.
Mm-mm.
So that's why we are knowing what we know. We are responsible
Mm-hmm.
for carrying, the vision of our creator,
Mm-hmm.
which is to live a free will, to have this creative imagination.
Mm-hmm. Now, what you were
That's what
saying
we're
about
supposed
it
to do.
doesn't take many, that's true because that's how they start off these agendas. They get a small group of
Hmm.
people to push it. The next you know, it spreads. So it doesn't really take it. All you need is a little bit of people to keep pushing the issue, keep pushing it,
Hmm.
bringing it up, and then finally it takes hold and becomes
Hmm.
a bigger deal.
Right, right. And the small group of people have to have faith.
Mm-hmm.
They have to have absolute faith.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the faith of the woman who touched the hem of Jesus's garb.
Mm-hmm.
That's the faith we have to have.
Right. Yes.
And yeah, so yeah, it's just, I just get so flabbergasted when people just give in so easily.
Well, people have trouble with opposition. They just their lives are so difficult already. They don't want any more drama. That's basically what it is. So to start thinking like this is to go against everything that they are used to, and that takes work
Hmm.
mentally. It's a mental work to keep yourself focused and on what you say you want for yourself. So yeah.
Yeah, well, people need to wake up because it's not complaining isn't gonna get anything. It's
Mm-mm.
only gonna
Nah, people just
get
bury their
worse.
head in the sand.
Yeah,
Hope it all goes away. Yeah.
yeah. So, um, when you have this creative imagination,
Mm-hmm.
you vibrate differently. You have a higher vibration. And when you align yourself, when your vibration and your desire align, it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like the Michelangelo painting, you know, uh, where God and Adam are right here touching.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like your vibration and your desire. So like, I guess Adam would be the desire and God would be the imagination. And there's the spark.
Mm-hmm.
So when are people going to start realizing that? Like,
They got to quit
instead of complaining.
actions. They have to, like you said, they have to change their mind. And once they change their mind, they gotta have faith that what they see will come to its reality.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I hope so. I hope a lot of people just stop complaining. Just I'm seeing too many complaints. Um, but yeah, like you mentioned the Matrix. So here we see, oh yeah, um, we have this ability. We're all Neo. But
Mm-hmm.
then all the following matrices or matrices, there was always an issue.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like basically programming us to think there's always going to be a problem. Even though you know the matrix exists, there's always going to be a problem and you can't get out of it.
Mm-hmm. Every time he got better, the agents got better.
Right,
They upgraded. Yeah.
right. Instead of like, hey, we're the ones always upgrading,
Mm-hmm.
but we have to choose it. We have to
Right.
choose to upgrade,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, yeah, and then here Neville Goddard says we have to engage the senses and emotions.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it's the whole, also that whole frequency, the frequency and the emotion
Mm-hmm.
all goes hand in hand.
Right.
So people really, really need to start looking within.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's where your imagination is within you, not
Mm-hmm.
outside. That's the distraction. We look for outside validation for everything instead of inside validation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's the issue right there.
Yep. Yep. But then that makes the economy go, right?
That's what it's designed to do, for you to look for something else. That's why they have so many structures in place. You have education, you have religion, they have government. There's always some sports. There's
Bread
always
and circus.
something
Bread
for
and circus.
people to attach themselves to, so they can just be distracted away from their true self.
Right. Yeah,
So,
you mentioned sports. So think of the Super Bowl, the
mm.
World Cup. There's so much intensity, so much emotion. And if that was directed to creating something greater than what we're currently living in, wow.
Let's really quick. You ever had a dog? You
Yeah,
have a dog as a pet? And did your dog like to play fetch? You would throw something to go after it and get it.
yeah.
Right.
Uh-huh.
So even sports is the powers that be way of giving you a ball to chase. Think about all of the sports have to do with a ball
Wow.
and balls. So so what we do to dogs to make them fetch, that's what they're doing. These sports is surrounded by balls, watching a ball go back and forth, just like we do with our dogs. See?
Mm-hmm.
All of it's a distraction. All of it's designed to distract us. So
Mm-hmm.
give the so that tells you what they really think about us. Animals. We're animals to them. We're just useless eaters. Give them entertainment so they can chase a ball or chase a team. They get a favorite team. My team. Wear the shirt. This is my team. And they're getting no residual money off of that, but they're buying
Mm-hmm.
team paraphernalia. You go to the game and spend $10 for a hot dog. It's all got you chasing a ball. We're just on a different level of
Mm-hmm.
chasing the ball. See, the dog is just on a basic level. We Ours is just a little more complicated. But when you strip it all away, it's still the same thing. We're all fetching a ball, chasing it, and that's all. We're fascinated in running after it. Then they give us how the other symbolic balls, like issues, problems. Oh, this group of people, okay. And then we jump on that. It's another ball symbolically that to chase,
Mm-hmm.
to follow.
Mm-hmm.
And all the while, we're never stopping and looking for the truth within ourselves. Because once you realize and find the truth within yourself, all of this striving after cars and homes and money really means nothing. Because if you once you stop chasing all of that, that's when you receive all of the wealth.
Mm-hmm.
Because what it says, put forth the kingdom of heaven first, then all these things will be added to you. So what does that mean? Stop chasing those balls and look for the kingdom of heaven within you. Then you will be able to see clearly how to be prosperous in this system and not be concerned with the issues of the world. Like what you read, do not be conformed to this world. Even adopting all of the issues and the fears of the world is like being conformed to them, because what you're
Mm-hmm.
saying is those issues can have power over you when
Right.
they really don't have power over you. It's just that you believe they do. They have power. So once you realize I have all of the power, I dictate, and then you'll be like a Neo in the Matrix. Everybody is just in this Matrix believing that they're not powerful, right? He knew his power,
Mm-hmm.
but we have powers greater than that, but we just don't believe it. Like, think about it. They say our lifespan is, 70, 80, I forgot what the average lifespan is.
Depends on where
But
you
it
live.
depends on where you live. That's what they say, right? That's what's out there. And people largely live up to that expectation. Now, the question is this: since they put that into our imagination, is that what's driving our lifespans to be that short? Because we believe that?
In part, I think, yeah. And then just everything else that they're doing,
Right.
you
See,
know.
if we have a different belief, no, I don't believe I'm going to die at this age. I'm going to live forever. If we really had that belief and we collectively had that belief system
Mm-hmm,
where
mm-hmm,
everybody shares in the energy. Because I can have that belief system, but if everybody in my circle has a different belief system, the energy of those thoughts is going to be in direct conflict with what I believe, and I'm always going to be at odds with that energy of their thoughts.
mm-hmm,
Energy thoughts are more energetic than words. Words is just the final result of what a thought is. It just comes out there and it's uttered. But that thought is projected far faster and has more impact than the actual word. The word is just the final icing on the cake.
mm-hmm,
So a lot of the issues that we're having, why we can't get to a certain level, is just simply because of what we're surrounded by. That's why they want us to be in all cooped up together.
yeah.
Because if you, like you said, you get a small group of people to think one way, it could change, it spreads, it becomes like an infection. It spreads.
Mm-hmm.
But they constantly infecting your mind with what they want you to have through social media, through television, listening in the radio. All entertainment, all books are all scrutinized before they get to you. So that means that if they're scrutinized, that means you only reading or listening to or watching what they want you to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Before everything is scrutinized. And if it ain't on the level of what they that's not making it. And it's like again, it's all to rob you of your imagination and to give you what you call synthetic or false imagination, thinking that I'm thinking this up myself when actually those thoughts were created for you and you just thought you did. You just believe it's an illusion.
Mm-hmm.
But there's only one way to get to the point where you're really using your own thoughts. You have to disconnect from everything. You got to disconnect, and then you
Disconnect
will
and isolate yourself
right.
just so you can be alone with your actual thoughts.
That's what Jesus was doing. He would fast, right? Even though he preached, he went off and he fast. He went away from everybody. Why? Because the energy of those poor mindsets can weigh down on you. So he had to remove himself periodically to build up his strength.
Well, that's what monks do. They
Mm-hmm.
stay away. And I meditated with a monk when I was volunteering in Sri Lanka. And I remember asking him, like, why aren't you like actually with the people more? Physically
Mm-hmm.
helping the people more.
He helping them
And
more
he
by
said,
not being there.
exactly. He said, he's like, there's too much chaos and I can't be, I can't really focus. I can't do what I want to do for the people. I can't be at a certain vibration.
Yeah,
So I
because
have to isolate myself, and what
mm-hmm,
I do, is it's going to emanate. It's going to affect other people because
mm,
I'm solid in my conviction and my faith. Um, and it took me several years to really get that.
mm-mm. Those the thoughts of people being around people, just you can feel it just going to a grocery store. If you really tapped into yourself, you could really
Hmm.
go to a grocery store and feel it. Oh, it's time to get out of here
Yeah,
because what you're picking up is all that depression, all of that anxiety, and
yeah,
whatever issues they got going on. It's being you know put out there. So you gotta
hmm,
get. I go in the store and get in there and get out because I can't spend more than 30 minutes in a grocery store because I start feeling really uncomfortable. Like I gotta get out of here because I
yeah.
get what I get and get on home, and then when I get home and close those doors, I feel it feels you know it's really once you really get tapped into your inner self, really get to know yourself, the less you really want to be around people. The less, and then you become very selective about your conversations and how long you're keeping conversations with people.
Yeah.
And it's not you being stuck up; it's just you're protecting your peace, you're protecting your space, and the one space you got to protect is your mental space.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because people
Yeah.
say little things, they don't mean anything by it, but they say things and don't really realize the impact of what their words are saying, what they're thinking.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
had someone question what I do. Like, oh, you can't be making that much money. Like, I wasn't really saying how much money I made. You can't make. I was like, oh, I got to get off the phone with this person because they don't believe what I'm doing could be prosperous. We can't have a conversation, and I'm not going to spend time trying to convince you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a waste
That
of
it
time.
is.
It's a waste of your
Mm-mm.
energy.
No. Well, yeah, me going down that rabbit hole will drain me. And for what? For what? They're not going to change their life off of what I'm saying.
Yeah.
See, most people you come. Oh, little side note, and it's something, and I mentioned it yesterday, I believe. People go to do different rituals and get answers and stuff like that. But somebody gave me a perspective that was profound. That when you go and try to do these rituals, you need to be bringing gifts to the ritual.
Mm-hmm.
To whatever you're trying to gain, here's my gift. Because that was in the Bible, that's the theme. Whenever they wanted a prophecy or understand a prophecy, they always brought gifts. And it wasn't money. Sometimes it was money, but most times it was exchange of food of some sort, or even land, or it was many things that they were giving. But the first, the the process was we must bring something in exchange to get these blessings or to get these prophecies, things like that. And I was like, oh, and one of the examples was people, ayahuasca, right? When you go do that, if you have a good person doing that ceremony, they would explain to you need to bring a gift to because it's a plant, right? The plant is medicine, and the spirit of that plant is it's an entity in
Mm-hmm.
a life. You need to be bringing
Mm-hmm.
a gift, and sometimes it might even ask, or you might even ask, okay, what type of gift do you want while you're in that? So, and what they explained to me was a lot of times when people go through those ceremonies, their life gets worse before it get turned upside down because of the fact that they didn't exchange properly. They came and took, but didn't return. So
Mm-hmm.
that's and I know I said, you know what? I know a few people that did that and their life is a mess. Like, and I was like, I thought this was supposed to give you, and that's what gave me pause not to do it. And
Mm.
I've been thinking about it for a long time, but now I said, oh, that makes sense. And all of the when I was told to me, these particular people are not, they're very selfish people. And I was like, oh, now, and they don't get it. So until they can fix that, until they realize that they have to give back,
Mm-hmm.
that then everything will even out. Yeah, I was like, well, that was just a little side note. And I'm glad I got that. I said, okay, now I can go in peace. Cause I was like, that was one of my things. Like, I don't know. I see these certain ones, they did this thing and their life went to hell.
Yeah, but the people who usually have issues already had issues. It's
Right.
just
Right.
like pushing them into it to like you really need to face this
Right.
before things can get better.
Hmm.
And it's got to get really bad. You got to
I
hit
know
rock
somebody on an
bottom.
8, 9 year journey of a mess. Eight,
Mm,
9 years since they did it. And their life has been that way ever since.
Yeah. No, no, no.
And
They
but
already had
on the other
issues.
hand, this person is very selfish too.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. So okay, now I see. Till they get
Yeah.
that, that's the thing they got to overcome.
Yeah.
And it's like that in the Bible. There was times where people didn't they took and they didn't leave a gift, and they had problems after that. So it's all outlined in these books on how to think. All right, anything else?
No, I think we covered a lot.
Yeah, we did. We did. So we recovered our show. We
Yeah.
started a little late, but it turned out to be pretty good, I think.
Yep.
All right. Well, we'll close out. Well, thanks again to the few people that did come on. Appreciate you. Um, till next week, Raquel.
And I wish you paz y mucho, mucho amor.
All right. Good night. Peace.